Welcome back to another episode of All Access. Today we will be discussing the end of the fall sports season here at Rowan, as well as the winter sports season starting to kickstart. We also have national sports news for you, as well as a new segment coming your way, McAndrews must-starts for fantasy football in Week 11. All that and more on All Access. Welcome back to another episode of All Access. Live from Bozarth Hall, we are here to update you on the most relevant stories in sports today. I'm Nick Rizzo.
And I'm Eden Doherty, and we have a great show for you. As Nick mentioned earlier, we have fall sports wrapping up and winter sports ramping up.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm excited, and I know you're excited as NBA is also underway, NHL as well, and NFL starting to kick it in high gear, Nick.
Yep, the NBA starting to get through the season a little bit, starting to really get into the thick of things. You know, the Sixers, really exciting start, got off to an 8-1 start, first in the East, but now 2 straight losses, but it's bound to happen over the course of an 82-game season.
We don't got to talk about
It's all right, yeah, I know.
On to the next one.
So, sorry to mention it, Aiden. But, you know, we still have props basketball, too. The men's props are off to a 3-0 start, and the women are starting to show some flashes as well. So it's looking like it's going to be an exciting winter here in South Jersey. But without further ado, let's jump into some Rowan sports. Rowan men's soccer season has reached the finish line as they lost their NJAC championship game against Montclair State 4-2. The Profs also did not receive an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, and they won't be making an appearance for the first time since 2018. But head coach Scott Baker certainly doesn't lack confidence in his team, stating after the game, "This team will be back. We've made it to the NJAC championship 4 years in a row, and we look to make it 5 next year." The Profs will only be losing 3 seniors, so as Tristan Thompson said following Kyrie Irving's trade request, it's time to get the gang back together ahead of the 2024 season. The women's season ended in similar fashion, as they lost their NJAC championship game against TCNJ 2-0. Unlike the men, though, they did receive an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament and lost 2-0 in the first round to Southern Maine. But much like the men, Coach Scott Leacott will be completely running it back next season, as he will be losing no seniors. Yes, 0 seniors from his team. That is absolutely unheard of. So it's safe to say that both teams will have a great shot at hoisting the trophy in 2024.
And to another fall sport, Rowan Field Hockey once again has won the NJAC championship. They won 6-0 against Stockton in the semifinal and then followed it up with a 3-0 win against number 22 ranked TCNJ in the championship game. They have now won back-to-back-to-back NJAC championships. With that win, they secured a spot in the NCAA tournament where they hosted the Hartwick Hawks, and they dominated in a 5-0 win. Vanessa DiDonato scored her 18th goal while also adding 2 assists. Sydney Pavlichin also scored 2 to her total, and that gives her 9 on the season. And this win now gives them 5 straight years of NCAA tournament wins. And redshirt goalie Mariah Giuliano has 4 straight shutouts, with 3 of them being in winner-go-home situations. But as they were getting hot, their season sadly came to a close in Boston last weekend as they lost 2-1 to number 10 ranked Tufts. They finished the year 12-8, but the future is bright as they will be getting back their top 6 goal scorers and starting goalkeeper. And like Jalen Hurts says, I know I didn't walk through the fire just to smell the smoke, because this Rowan Field Hockey team will be back next fall.
Rowan football hosted William Patterson last Friday in their season finale and also honored their 16 seniors for senior night. Coach Jay Accorsi's squad rode the momentum that they built in the last few weeks of the season, defeating the Pioneers 24-14. Ending the season on a 3-game winning streak. The offense shined in the run game, with Nunez Bakula IV running his way to 60 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Profs end the year with a 5-5 overall record and a 4-2 record in conference play. The team will be losing 16 seniors, but there are a plethora of underclassmen that played significant roles this year. Accorsi is no stranger to success as head coach here at Rowan, and he believes this team could become a yearly powerhouse, stating there are a lot of good young players in the program that are going to make us contenders for years to come. Hopefully, Accorsi can channel his inner Bill Belichick and send the Profs back to contention in 2024 and beyond.
And now to winter sports. Basketball is up and going as the men's team started off tournament play last weekend in Rochester, New York. They defeated Maryville 94-90 and then Worcester 78-77 as Josh Wright unlocked his inner D'Angelo Russell with ice in his veins as he hit both free throws with 4 seconds left to win. And after that, they traveled to Eastern on Wednesday and put on a show as they won 114-86. Jazir Knoll, Khalif Mears, and Marcellus Ross all scored 20-plus in the contest. And newcomer Khalif Mears is averaging 23 points per game now, which got him rewarded with NJAC Player of the Week. The women's team now has started in the Kate Pearson era with an 0-2 record with losses to number 6 ranked Scranton and Husson before defeating Keene State 67-54 as Kate Herlihy had 27 points on 14 shots. Rowan basketball, or women's basketball I should say, will face Eastern at home before both teams face their arch rival Stockton on Tuesday, November 21st. And that's going to be a good one. It's going to be a packed gym in the SB Gymnasium. And I don't know if you'll be there, but I will certainly be there, and you can save me a spot, Nick.
Aiden, you know I will be there. I can never get enough of Profs basketball. Ever since I've been here at Rowan, it just seems like Profs basketball always finds a way to get it done. As we know, both the men's and women's team took home the conference championship last season, and it's looking like both will have a good chance to do it again this year, so it's definitely going to be exciting.
Yeah, and Stockton, it's a big rivalry, and it's weird to have a big rivalry already in November. But on that note, now let's send it over to our national sports news anchor, Gabe Furman.
Welcome back to All Access. My name is Gabe Furman, providing you with the hottest topics in sports. The U.S. men's national team picked up a big win in the first leg of the Nations League quarterfinal against Trinidad and Tobago on the 16th, winning with the scoreline of 3-0. After a truly uninspiring and flat performance from the U.S. attack in the first half, they really made up for it in the later minutes of the second half with goals from Ricardo Pepi, Anthony Robinson, and Gio Reyna. The win was much needed as newly reinstated head coach Greg Berhalter has picked up a lot of flack for his recent performances as fans feel that under his tutelage, the USMNT have had too many close games against teams that they honestly should have cruised by. The fans have a good point because when Coach Greg Berhalter was out of a job, his replacement, B.J. Callahan, went on a 4-game undefeated run with the young squad, one of those wins including a 6-0 victory against the same Trinidad and Tobago team. The USMNT will now travel to Trinidad to play the second leg of the quarterfinal, and hopefully we actually get a fun game to watch and not the same passing around the back that Sir Greg loves to play. Now, moving over to baseball, where well-known journalist Jeff Passan has reported a trade between the Atlanta Braves and the Chicago White Sox on Thursday, November 16th. Now, if you don't know what happened, you may be wondering, oh, who got traded? Well, the Braves received Aaron Bummer, while the White Sox went ahead and picked up the entire Braves roster. All right, now I may be over-exaggerating a little bit, but the Braves traded away 5 players, those including Nicky Lopez, Riley Gones, Braden Shoemake, Mike Soroka, and Jared Schuster. Mind you, they did all this for Aaron Bummer, whose stats tell an odd story. With a -1 WAR and a stinky 6.79 ERA, you would think similar to his last name that he's a bum. But once you delve deeper into his stats, he's actually boasting an excellent 3.5 FIP and averages 12 strikeouts per 9 innings. Basically, this information means that the White Sox can't field to save their lives. And hopefully these 5 new additions can help them in that department. Honestly, I'm surprised I wasn't included in this deal because it seems everyone else was. Now for the last story, the Oakland A's, we got the Las Vegas A's now, baby. That's right, the owners of Major League Baseball have approved the relocation of the then Oakland A's to Las Vegas after an absolutely embarrassing showing from the team last season. In fact, the only time they had fans in the stands was actually a protest against their owner, John Fisher, who still refuses to sell the team even though he literally never pays attention to them. Oakland seems to be a place where sports franchises continue to die, as they now have had 2 major teams leave their city, the other team I'm referring to being the now Las Vegas Raiders. If the A's think simply relocating will change anything, I'm afraid they are living in a delusional world, because as long as John Fisher remains the stingy owner he is, the longer this franchise will continue to struggle. He is so bad at paying players that since he bought the team in 2005, he hasn't once been in the top 15 in payroll, and since 2015, the A's ranked at the bottom 6 in payroll in the MLB. Every member of the team that gets good always goes because Fisher refuses to spend a dime on them. The biggest name recently being Matt Olson, who has absolutely killed it with the Braves since heading over there. Oakland didn't have a fan problem. They have a managerial problem that makes the fans look bad. If they put on the best product they could and decided to renovate their stadium for once, the historic Oakland Coliseum would once again be home to thousands of fans. Now that was your National Sports News Update. I'm Gabriel Furman, now sending it over to Connor McAndrew for his new segment, McAndrew's Must Starts.
Thanks, Gabe. It's now time for McAndrew's Must Starts, where I tell you key players that you need on your roster if you want to win fantasy this week. I'll start off with anyone who's in need of a big quarterback. I'm talking about the passionate himself, Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs, an absolute journeyman in the NFL, bounced from 4 teams and even space this season, and finally finding his new home with the Minnesota Vikings. Dobbs is the reason the Vikings are still in playoff contention. You see Big Kirko go down with a torn Achilles, and then Justin Jefferson with a major injury that sidelined him for a handful of weeks. Now for Dobbs, he's 55% rostered in leagues. That makes no sense for a quarterback who has proven himself time and time again that he's a must-start in your leagues. He has produced at least 22 points in his last 3 games with at least a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. I would say he's more of a safer start than top quarterbacks in the draft, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence. Also taking on Denver's defense this week, where they ranked 27th in fantasy. My next guy is NFL veteran Devin Singletary, who has seemed to be a pretty underrated signing by the Texans in the offseason. Last week, Singletary had 30 attempts for 150 yards and a touchdown. I mean, what a week against one of the stronger defenses of the NFL with the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, yes, you do see Dameon Pierce potentially back this week, but with Singletary's performance a week ago and now facing the Cardinals, who rank 26th in fantasy, I believe that Singletary will have more carries than Pierce. And I mean, Pierce has had a pretty disappointing sophomore season after all, after his incredible rookie year. My final guy for this week is going to be Romeo Doubs, no relation to the Pastronaut, but he is a great receiver for the Packers and a pretty consistent player in recent weeks. In 3 of his last 4 weeks, he has reached double digits without getting in the end zone. I like him this week as they play the Chargers, who gave up 41 points to the Lions a week ago. As those are McAndrew's must-starts of the week with your host, Connor McAndrew. If there's one thing you should stay away from this week, it's the Giants' offense. As we'll take a quick break here with sponsors, and we'll be back for more All Access.
Looking for these? You drive Buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Which planet are we living on? It's right here.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the banner segment here on All Access. I'm Joe. I'm here with Greg and Sam. Greg picked up the W last week, but today's a new week, so we'll see what happens. So let's jump right into it. With the 49ers' impressive win over the Jags this past week, do you guys still think that they're the best team in the NFC?
Absolutely not. They were never the best team in the NFC. The best team in the NFC is the Philadelphia Eagles. They have the best roster top to bottom. When the Niners play the Eagles later this year in December, they're going to get crushed. How could you actually think it's the 49ers' best team in the NFC? They're not even the second best team in the NFC.
Crush? Oh, they're not the second best team in the NFC? Who's better then?
The Lions and the Cowboys.
No, stop it.
And the Eagles. I mean, Lions, Cowboys, and Eagles, I think.
Let me tell you something with the 49ers. This is the first 5 weeks of the season, everybody forgot about how good they were. Just because they had a 3-game losing streak, it doesn't mean anything. They were banged up. And look what they did at the trade deadline. They went out, they got Chase Young. Look at that front four. You got Chase Young, you got Eric Armstead, you got Javon Hargrave, and you got Nick Bosa. And then that linebacking core, I think is the best in football with Drake Greenlaw and Fred Warner. It's unbelievable.
Here's my question. I just have a question for both of you. When it gets into a playoff game, do you think Brock Purdy can lead a game-winning drive against a defense like the Eagles or the Lions?
Yes, I do, because I do because he's not like the guy, and he's played well this year. You look at his numbers.
How has he played without his weapons of Deebo Samuel and CMC?
Yeah, but his guys are going to be there late in the season.
How do you know?
It was okay that they were hurt a couple weeks ago. That's fine. Injuries happen throughout the course of the season. It matters when you get to the playoffs if everybody is healthy. I think the 49ers are the best team in the NFC. And the Eagles, I have two major concerns about them.
What?
Number one, their secondary.
I could have the same concern with the 49ers.
And their play calling, too. The play calling for the Eagles. Those are their two biggest concerns. Like, the Eagles don't run quarterback draws with Jalen Hurts. When I would, if I was the offensive coordinator, Brian Johnson.
So you're telling me the tush push doesn't work when it's
No,
the best
I
play
didn't
of
say
football?
the tush push doesn't work. I'd rather them tush push 4 times than run a quarterback draw with Jalen Hurts on first down. Why wouldn't you just do that?
You both obviously have some really strong opinions about this. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see for the playoffs. I mean, maybe the Eagles will play up in the Niners in the NFC Championship game or the Lions or who knows. But next, let's hop into another topic. The NBA season just started, and I want to know who you guys think are the best teams in the East and the West, and what are your first impressions? I'll start with you, Greg.
My first impressions about this season for the NBA has been the Philadelphia 76ers because they traded away James Harden, and everybody was talking about this team before the season. Well, what are they going to be? You know, you got Joel Embiid, you got Tyrese Maxey. Then they started to get all these depth pieces for James Harden, and he was causing a lot of problems with that team, with the whole situation with Daryl Morey, and it was going to become a locker room problem. So they got rid of James Harden, and they're playing really good with what they have. Now, Kelly Oubre, we know that whole story with him. That's going to be a big loss for the Sixers. Hopefully they can get him back soon. But Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid. Tyrese Maxey is only getting better, and the Sixers are a top 3 team in the East. I don't think they're better than Milwaukee.
They are.
Who do you think the Sixers are a better team than either the Celtics or the Bucks?
No, I don't.
You don't. Who do you think is the best team in the East?
I think the best team in the East is the Milwaukee Bucks.
So didn't you just say a second ago that the Sixers are the best team in the East?
No, I didn't. I never said that.
The best team in the East, in my opinion, is the Boston Celtics. They have the most depth in the NBA. You're telling me a team with Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, and Jaylen Brown is the best team in the NBA? Not even the NBA, the East. Both.
Let me ask you this. Who's the better duo? Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or Giannis and Damian Lillard? Once those two start to gel, who is stopping them? In the pick and roll game,
we're
the
talking
Bucks
about
have depth too. Right
now, it's Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
No, stop it. Stop it.
Okay.
No one is stopping Giannis
right.
and Dame. You can't even compare those two to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They're not even on the same page. If you want to talk depth-wise, I can understand your point. But we're talking about as a duo, Giannis and Dame can overcome what that roster has.
The question was team, not duo.
That is true.
But the Bucks have good depth. Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton. I can go down the line.
I can go down the line the same with the Celtics.
All right.
Well, they're both great teams. I get it. And it's going to come down to those two teams in the end.
Let's move over to the West now. Sam, who do you think is the best team in the West?
Well, this may be a boring answer, but I still have to go with the Denver Nuggets, the reigning NBA champions. Who is stopping Nikola Jokic, the reigning Finals MVP and 2-time MVP, and this Nuggets squad who's respond to all the naysayers that they wouldn't even get back to the championship, that they're this fluke team. Now, they're showing why they're the champs this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that you're choosing the Denver Nuggets, and I think it's a good pick, but it's hard to repeat in the NBA.
It is.
You don't know what it's like to go back-to-back. The Warriors have done that with the core with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and the addition of Chris Paul. You're not asking Chris Paul to be the same player that he's been throughout his entire career, because he's obviously not the same player, but he's going to provide leadership, and the young guys like Kuminga and Moody are only going to get better only because of the leadership that the Warriors have with Curry, Thompson, Draymond, and Chris Paul. Those guys are going to do their thing.
Do you think the whole controversy with Klay Thompson can affect the Warriors throughout the season now?
No. So because in the end, they're all going to be there, and that's what they're built to be. They want to be ready for the playoffs.
Greg, last year, the Jordan Poole, Draymond Green fight set separation and chemistry on this team. And the same things that happened this year at the Draymond Green fight in this week's game against the T-Wolves. He's suspended for 9 games. And the Warriors aren't even a top 5 team in the West this year.
Are they not a top 5 team? Maybe 5 teams right now that are better.
Okay. Nuggets, Mavs, Lakers.
No. Not the Lakers, no.
Whoa.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know about the Lakers.
I'll give you 2 more because, you know.
All right, give me 2 more.
Because, you know, I have to. You just think that.
All right.
I want to say the Clippers, but not the Clippers. You know?
Stop with the Clippers.
Okay.
No, don't even. You can't even name me 5 teams right
Thunder?
now. No, the Clippers. Have you seen how bad they've
I
looked
said not the
with
Clippers.
James Harden? He's ruining that team right now. They were better without him. They should have never traded for Harden.
Thunder?
All right, you know what? You know
Okay.
what? Okay. The Thunder, I actually like that team, but the fact that you threw in the Clippers over the Warriors is a disgrace. It's a joke. If I had the opportunity, I'd walk off this segment right now.
I said I would like to say the Clippers. I said but they're not.
Everybody calm down. Your tensions are really high right now, and I want to know what you guys think. That's it for today. I want you guys to scan the QR code, vote who you think won. The link is also in the description. That's all we have for the banner segment on Here on All Access. See you later, guys.